Now, honestly, I'm not in the mood to be filming and sitting down and looking pretty. No. So I'm literally trying to put together some running gear so I can go for a run. Not in the mood. But in the middle of all of that, I'm going to be telling a story time while I'm getting ready. I'm just going to need you guys to bear with me. I'm going to tell it on my way to the run and after the run. My story time will be about one of the comments that was made on my vlog by Khumuto, shout out to Muto, just about the series that I'm making and honing in on the topic of love, talking about how we all get swindled, especially in our 20s, and especially if you're a certain kind of personality. There are predators and toxic people that are out there to just take advantage of you. And swindling happens. So I'm here to tell you that if it's happened to you, you're not crazy. There's nothing wrong with you. There's everything wrong with toxic people. It happened to me twice. It happened to me, and I think I made mention of the one story in my video. I'll link that story. But it happened again and again with somebody that I trusted with my heart. And stories like this frustrate me because you get taught a lesson, and especially if you have an empathetic nature and you are trusting and very vulnerable, they happen, yes, to teach you a lesson, but they take something out of you if you allow them to, or if you don't take time to mourn and to work on yourself. It can really damage you in terms of future prospective relationships. So, let's get into it. This guy I met when I was in a restaurant with a couple of friends. I think I was in my mid-20s, like 25, 26. Yeah. Guy was sitting across a table from us, and this person makes eye contact with me the entire time. And you know, that thing where, okay, you can see. And he type, yeah, man, he's my type. You know, he's just got that aura. And I liked him. So that's how Guy and I met. He came to our table, bought the girls and I some beers, paid for the bill. And one of the things that he did was to leave his number with the waitress. And I was just impressed. I was like, manners, honey, manners, because you're not asking for time with me or you're not distracting me from my friends while I'm having a good time, but you're also making sure that your message is delivered. Wow. So I like that. I like approaches like that. It's respectful, but still it's demure, but still to the point. Okay, so that's how we met. I save his number, and then obviously I was like, no, I don't text, and I think it was BBM back in those days, BlackBerry. I don't BBM him until like the following week. Yeah, I'm that deep. Following week, hey, Namsha, we met at such and such restaurant. These are my digits. Okay, cool. Guy responds almost immediately. You know how it goes, love bombing. It is hectic. Love bombed to the nines, okay? From there on, Guy and I were inseparable. I'm talking literally always fetching me from work every day. He took it very slowly as a gentleman and was going at my pace. But you know how women be sometimes. When you like a guy, you like a guy, you like a guy. Now when I like you, typical Aries, I don't have time. We must just get to the point. Okay? Love bombs. We were gelling. Relationship was great. We were exclusive. PT. Okay. Guy goes AWOL. Ghost. I'm just like, okay, this is like 5-6 months in now. I call the guy's phone is off. It's like, what happened? Okay. Mind you, it's like 5-6 months. I don't know much about the guy. And come to think of it, that on its own was a red flag. But okay. Call the guy, the phone is off. He comes back about 3 days later. He's like, hey, babe. No, sorry, man. I had an emergency at home. That's when we started going into, where he lives exactly. Like, where is that? Come to think of it. Where is it? Where do you live? That's when I found out that my guy lived in Senegal. Not a problem. I don't have a problem. I love me African brothers. But he had never mentioned anything to me about going home or needing to go home. So I'm asking, is everything fine? Why the sudden need to go home, and why didn't you just tell me? Yeah, no, everything was fine. I just had a quick emergency with my brother. He was ill. It was abrupt. He was in a car accident. And knowing my own traumas, because sometimes we overshare, ladies. Stop this thing of oversharing with a man too quickly until you really get to know him. Yeah? Okay. So, he had known a lot about my stories. So, yeah, car accident. So he knew, okay, I'd obviously be in an understanding position then. And I was like, okay, what happened? And obviously, when somebody hits you with that bomb, you're not going to go on and interrogate even more because you want to be sensitive. And especially if you empathize like I did. I think I'm good. Grab my bag. Perfume. If you wanna empathize like how I did. So I'm like there trying to be a great girlfriend, and then okay, I ignore that red flag. Time moves on. About 2 or 3 months later, yeah, we still find Jola, but it starts this thing now of sometimes being unavailable. Go on. Like he'd go AWOL after some time, and exactly 3 months or so, then he went AWOL for more than a week. I'm just like, what the hell is going on here? Okay, wait for it. Oh yeah, so when I say home is in Senegal, the guy lived here at home, like in South Africa, and we were predominantly at his place. The guy had a very aesthetically an astute life as far as I was concerned. I mean, he lived in Blue Valley, beautiful house at the time. But now that I look back at it, he asked a lot of questions about me. Where I work, who am I reporting to exactly? Trying to understand where I'm at from a management or a reporting line perspective and stuff like that. So, that's on its own. That on its own is like red flag. Okay, anyways, back to, when he disappeared for a week. Again, he disappears for a week, man. And this time he comes back. Something similar story, but now it's a bit nuanced because he's like, no, he's business. So he was an entrepreneur. But I never asked what his business was about. Red flag. Well, all of these things, now that I look at them, and whenever I told or tell the story, it's just like, what? Yeah, red flag. Never knew what his business was about, and he was always so vague about it. No, I had to go for business. My investors from back home were starting to be worried because, the business hasn't been doing so well. I'm sorry I couldn't I wasn't available at the time. My phone got stolen. Like, it was just a lot. So I'm still like, but you couldn't call. Like, you couldn't try and email Nyana. No, yeah. That's when I started to become very suspicious. I'm like, kinda off. But okay. Then, one of the things he'd always done was to take my car and his car for a wash at the car wash, and also at for service, right? Which is fantastic because men, I believe, know the car lingo. And so they're able to negotiate these things. I usually just got taken for a ride, and he would always complain about that. So we're now close to a year, okay? But there's still a lot of red flags, but I'm just highlighting the most important ones. Okay. And then we get to, then we get to a point where he needs to take my car for a service. Okay, cool. Then he's like, he would usually pay for the service. But this time he's like, babe, I'm at the dealership and they're like, my cards have been frozen. So, to fix your car, service your car, because it was a full-on service. It was the GTI. A full-on service at the time, and your service is around 15K, the full one. So, and I've checked everything from a spec perspective. No, everything is fine. Do you mind paying, for it, and then I will pay you back once I sort out my card situation? And I'm like, no, it's fine because it is my car in my head. And I'm like, but he's always paid for my service. So I have no reason to actually doubt, but okay. Anyway, so he sends me the details. So I'm like, okay, send me the details then, so I can send the money. Okay, fine. And I'm waiting for these details. Guys, the details were funny. Like, funny details. And I'm like, these don't look like the car dealership details, like banking details. Why is the reference or even the name something completely different? He's like, no, my friend or business partner is there by the dealership, so he needs to make the payment. So we just thought it would be easier if you send it through to his account so that he can just swipe, instead of waiting for, clearance and stuff like that, blah, 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 blah. Okay. Look, guys, I had no reason to judge this man or think ill of this man before. I mean, he had serviced my car before. So I was like, okay. But I did ask the question, like, okay, which business partner? He had mentioned that he had a couple of business partners and shareholders, these big things that people, that you hear about when working for companies. So I was like, okay, cool. So deposited the 15K sharp grand. He calls me and he tells me, no, you're okay. They've taken it in. I will let you know once I've collected it or once it's back. And then, I'll come fetch you from work and then we'll go and have dinner. Sharp. And, Nyani he does as he said. He collects me from work and everything is hunky-dory. And I'm going to pause the story there because I'm almost at my running venue, and I will continue when I'm done with my run. Okay, so I just finished my run and I'm obviously stretching, but let's continue. So fetches me a guy. I think we'll go for dinner that day. Fine, standard. He pays because after my trauma with my ex, I was not supposed to do that. Okay, so he pays for dinner. Nothing's funny. We'll go back to his place. In the morning, I wake up, I take my car, go to work. Whilst at work, I get a call from VW. Okay, which is the car that was servicing my company the previous day. Hi, Miss Mbawudi. You're speaking to XNX. I'm calling regarding your service. So now in my head, I'm thinking, okay, was there an issue? Or do you need me to bring it back? I'm like, Lord, here comes the inconvenience. I'm thinking, Lord, here comes the inconvenience of having to take my car back there again. But no, the lady tells me that no, she was just following up to see if I wanted to make another service booking for my car, because seeing as though I didn't bring it in the previous day and it was due. Say what? Hi, yeah. How are you? Yeah, guys, so I'm like, what do you mean it never arrived? And she's like, no, your car was never here, ma'am. And I'm like, no, my car was there. I even sent a certain amount of money, 15,000 Rand plus, to my boyfriend or my boyfriend's friend to make the payment. And she's like, nope, we never got any payment. And a part of me is still like, no, wait, you've got to be wrong. I even sent her the POP and she's like, nope. And I'm like, okay, let me call you later. Because now I'm just like in a panicky state. So I called the boyfriend. It's on voicemail. Wait, what? And his phone was never on voicemail unless he was going AWOL. Unless he was going AWOL, then his phone will be on voicemail. So now I'm just like, okay, let me calm down. I'm clear you're at work. Let's wait until you get home. I get home around 6. I call him again. Phone off. Now I'm like really mad and I'm starting to be annoyed. I'm not panicking as yet because it's not hitting that, because money's never been an issue between us. And he wouldn't do me like that, right? Especially because he knows my story. Okay. Anyway, so then, okay, I call one of his friends or acquaintances and he's like, yo, I haven't seen that guy. It's been 3 months because he owes me money, around 50K or something. Say what? Yeah, 50K. Then he gives me the number of his so-called acquaintance or business partner. So I call that guy. That guy's like, look, I'm just going to be honest with you. You seem like a great person. I don't know what you're doing with this guy. He is just going to swindle you. And it was just about time. So you saying, I tell him the story basically about my car. And he's like, I hate to break it to you, but you will never get your money back. He swindled you just like he swindles everyone. Just like he swindled me a couple of weeks ago. And he owes me around 100 plus K. Sold me this business idea. I went into partnership with him and I've been looking for him ever since. And I'm like, but he stays in this house and blah, blah, blah. And he's like, ma'am, that's his cousin's house. And his cousin let him stay there because he was living abroad for a short period. But now he's coming back. So I bet you when you go there, you won't find him. I'm just like, so, yeah. And I'm like, and he reiterated the fact that, you will never see him again. What? No, but me, I'm just like, I'm still in disbelief, guys. I'm still in disbelief. So anyways, let me get my green juice. I deserve it. Then I'll continue. Thank you. Okay, but guys, so I'm back home. I bought a new camera and it died, and I'm still trying to operate it, as I'm sure you can see. Please forgive that. Anyway, so still in disbelief, the girl. I drive there the following day. I keep calling his number, by the way, it's off. I drive there the following day, immediately after work. No one. No one answers, nothing. Okay, then I told myself, okay, I'll be back in the weekend. This was a Wednesday, so I wait till the weekend, but I'm still calling. Still nothing. I think it hadn't hit. Then I go there in the weekend, and this time the cousin was there, and he's like, "No, ma'am, I just arrived a couple of days ago. And this is my place." And I'm like, "No, but what about your cousin so and so and so?" It's like, "Oh, that guy. You're probably victim number 4,000 in his list. He's back home. So out of all the lies he told you, the only truth was where he comes from. But yeah, he lives at home. He came here because he told me the story about this big opportunity, and fortunately for him, I also just needed someone to take care of my home because I was taking my family and myself to go abroad for a bit. So it just worked out. But yeah, change, you will never see him again. It's those words that people just keep saying to me. You will never see him again. Yeah, guys, and they were right. Never saw him again. Never ever saw him again. And you know what? I'm not even mad at the moment. I'm more aware that getting into a relationship with anyone means you have to have done work on yourself. Physically, emotionally, and definitely spiritually. There are things that you will attract, or spirits that you will attract, if you're not woke and aligned with God spiritually and therefore in alignment with self. You'll attract them because you don't even know who you are. There are certain things that we can only do at our basic human level, and we're in control of. But there's this higher realm of higher spiritual being called God who's able to speak to us and enable us to discern certain people from a mile away. There's no formula for identifying toxicity or people that are going to use you. There's stories of people who've been in relationships for a year, 2 years, and got swindled. So there's no formula to it. And you can't sit there and say it will never happen to you, because unless you've really done the work, which is you're in strong and true alignment with your spirituality, and such that it guides you and or prevents certain kinds of spiritual forces within people from coming into you, then you're a target like anyone else. And besides that, some things, I think, and this is my belief, I believe God lets you go through certain things so you can learn it, so you can learn and you build your character. And it can be like a sense of bringing you closer to Him, because sometimes you have to get burnt, okay? And just don't dwell on the negative. Don't dwell on it. Let it be a lesson learned that healing spiritually is very, very important before you jump into yet another relationship and bring about the same toxic injury into that relationship simply because you haven't done the healing. Take the time to do the healing. It's okay to be single, because single gets you some time to get to know yourself, and in getting getting to know yourself, you get to strengthen your relationship with God spiritually. Anyways, this brings us to the end of the story. I hope it impacts and helps anyone out there, even if it's a single soul. If it does, please let me know down below. And I appreciate the love, guys. Let's get us to 500 subscribers. We are well on our way. I am truly, truly grateful. You keep me motivated to just continue to post, even in my state of slump that I'm in. And I always strive to bring my authentic self, and I hope that came across in this video. Until next time, bye.